doing. Let's give Anna another go around that. I am so glad to be here with all of you today. You know, this is just a great opportunity for us to be together. Our country is in a really tough time. And what we do over the next year in a Democratic primary, a chance to get out, to organize, to get people going, is going to make the difference in the direction our country takes. A mama and a baby out of poverty, and that is why I'm here. The difference is because of a decision made in far-off Washington. When I was a girl, the question was, what will let a family of 3 survive? Today the question is, what will increase the profitability of giant multinational corporations? I want a government that doesn't work for the big corporations. Dream. All 3 of the boys went off to the military. That was their ticket to America's middle class. Me, my dream since I've been in 2nd grade, I wanted to be a public school teacher. Come on. So, by the time I graduate from college, my folks don't have enough money for me to pay for a college application, much less to send me off to school. But I get a scholarship, and it's a long and twisty story that includes, at 19, falling in love. I'm tired of a government that doesn't work for the people. I'm tired of a government that works for the rich and the powerful and kicks dirt in everyone else's face. That's why I'm in this fight. I'm tired of a government that says to way too many people, and has said it for way too long, just sit down and be quiet. You don't get a seat at the table. A government that has said that for way too long to women, has said it for way too long to African Americans, to Latinos, to Native Americans, to people with disabilities. So the question is, how do we make this government work for the people? That we're going to do. That's right. We start by we call them out and we change the law.
Yes.
Companies just roll over everybody. They just come in and do what they want to do. They roll over their own employees. They roll over their customers. They roll over communities. They roll over local elected officials. They roll where they want to roll. What we've got to do is we've got to think not just of one statute to hold them back or one place. We've got to think of structural change. So here's part 1 of structural change. We need more power in the hands of workers, and that means we need more people in unions. Age 0 to 5. We can increase the pay of all the child care workers so they're up commensurate with public school teachers. We can do that for families and still have $2 trillion left over to reduce the student loan debt burden, to make it We can do this for change the rules in Washington. 2, change the rules rules in our economy. Now let's go to number 3. Change the rules in politics. And that starts with protecting our democracy. I want to see a constitutional amendment to protect the right to vote for every American citizen. Suppression laws in place. And I want to reverse Citizens United democracy. I went down there. We were outside McAllen. I went to think of an Amazon warehouse, only dirty and smelled bad. And I went in and I saw the cages of people. On the left were cages, and that's what they are, they're cages. Cages of men, stacked tight, maybe 10 feet wide, 40 feet deep, toilet back in the corner, right tight against the next cage, the next cage, the next cage. And across the way were cages of women. And then you walk into the main part, and there were the freestanding, big cages of little girls. Just little girls. And cages of little boys. And I leaned down, I talked with the little girls. They had nothing. They had no toys, they had no books, there was no TV on. They're just all sitting there. And I talked to these little girls, and they didn't know where their mothers were, they didn't know where their fathers were, they didn't know where their families were, they didn't. How long had they been there? Some a day, some a week. Some didn't know how long they had been there. And when I left, I found myself thinking, I understand that as Americans, we have a border. It's important to have a border. I understand that we are concerned about our safety and our security, and we should be. But any government agency that cannot understand the difference in the threat posed by criminals, terrorists, and 12-year-old girls is not a government agency that is advancing the interests of the people of the United States.
Very proud mother of a high school junior and senior. We are going through right now the college search.
Oh, yeah.
My senior, he's about to graduate, very talented musician. He's getting some scholarships for his musicianships. He scored well on the ACT, so he's getting some scholarships on that front. We still have a gap of $18,000 per year. I have not had a full night's sleep in a year. I wake up at 2 o'clock every morning wondering how I'm going to pay for this. My husband has a good job. I'm a state employee. We've saved when we can. I don't know how we're going to make up that gap. What is your plan to help people like us?
Okay, thank you very much. So this one is personal for me. My chance, the daughter of a janitor, was a commuter college that cost $50 a semester. I could go to a 4-year college and get a diploma and become a public school teacher on a price I could pay for on a part-time waitressing job. That doesn't happen on its own. It happened because America invested in that educational opportunity and said, kid, if you're willing to work hard, you can do this too. Here's a place you can go to school. It's a good school. So part one is we make decisions, these budgets. That school now does not exist. I mean, the $50 semester part of it does not exist for any kid in America today, basically. And what's the reason for that? Because government has decided we'd rather invest somewhere else. We'd rather give tax rollbacks to millionaires and billionaires. We'd rather cut taxes for a handful of giant corporations, and that leaves nothing for you. It leaves nothing for your kids. It leaves nothing to invest in the future. So every time you hear about a budget, you hear about a tax bill coming through, it sounds like it's a bunch of numbers. It's not. It's values. That budget statement is a statement of our values. So I'm going to give you two parts on this. The first one is, I believe that every kid in America is entitled to have a chance to get an education without going into debt. But that is not enough. Because today there are 44 million Americans who already have student loan debt. The student loan debt burden is $1.5 billion. A trillion, am I saying that? $1 trillion, sorry. It's $1.5 trillion. Think of a ball of debt that size. $1.5 trillion. And here's something I want to tell you about that ball of debt. Every year, some kids go off to school and borrow some money. Some kids leave school and stop borrowing money. Some kids pay off their debt, right? So since the number of kids going to college or technical training is staying roughly about the same, you'd expect the ball of debt to stay about the same, wouldn't you? It's not. Between the fees, the high interest rates, the penalties from people who are falling behind, the default rates, the student loan debt burden in America is now growing at a rate of $100 billion a year. It is taking down an entire generation in America. We cannot build a future